We have started a new month and the midterms are right around the corner next month, going into the home stretch. But there was this article here that was posted on CNN.com that says Democrats are lagging among black voters and that can cost them in November. Before we get into this, you remember when Stacey Abrams, when she went on the 85 South, podcast, and I think it was Chico Bean was asking her about doing something specific for black people. And Stacey Abrams say, well, black people are only 13% of the population. So, we can't just focus on black people. It's not enough votes there. We got to focus on everybody, so we can get votes from everybody. Then I can possibly do something for black people. Just basically the same old Kamala Harris response. But let's just really think about this here. Every election season, they always focusing on black voters. Now, last time I checked, black people outside of white people can vote. There are Asian voters. There are, East Indian voters. There are Hispanic voters. There are many, many voters that people that can focus on, right? But they constantly focusing on the black vote. Why? If we are truly, as they have lied and said, 'cause listen, if y'all accept that we're 13 to 14% of the population at this point, you don't have any kind of critical thinking skills at all. But let's go down the route for people who don't have those skills or maybe just didn't even think about it at all. Okay. So since at least the 1970s or so, we're 13% of the population. And every year we're 13% of the population. Okay. So in order for us to stay at 13% of the population, that means how many people that were born that year in the black community had to die that year. And we know that not to be true. More people have been born than died. Okay. There's a lot of black people who are not counted or undercounted. Detroit right now is filed a lawsuit against the Census Bureau for undercounting black people in Detroit. Now, why is that important? You do realize the census is a way to finesse money. Okay. So the finesse is this: for how many people there is, you got to allocate these resources to. So let's undercount black people so we could justify not giving them certain resources. Let's overcount and lie about who's white, which comes into play is why they label Hispanics as white, so they can give the resources not to Hispanics, so they can give it to white people. Why, East Indians, there's no category for them, for East Indian people. They can also label them as white. Guess where the money's going to go? To the real white people. You understand? Now, Asians have their own category. So, but it's not that. Well, I think close to 20 million Asians now in the United States of America. So all that labeling other groups as white is all about finessing money back to the white community. Also, the finessing of the money back to the white community gives them more representation in the Senate. Because, see, Congress is one thing, but the Senate is where they really dominate at. And people not really talking about that. Listen, black people, they said Barack Obama had did a count of black people, an unofficial count. And they said that Barack Obama's numbers at that time came up to around 32%, 33%, somewhere around there of the population, not 13%. Black people been here for hundreds upon hundreds of years, right? Having children, etc. These people haven't wiped us out. They haven't. We have grown every year. Even under bondage, our population has grown. Now they claim, that the Hispanic population has, trumped ours. It wasn't done by natural means. It's been done by, immigration, whether legal or illegal. It's basically immigration. Also, in the sense of their particular population, they believe in having more children. At one point in time, we believed in having a lot of children too, but we're at today, right? But let's give you a little backstory about always question why they concerned so much about black voters. Okay. So the midterms, they say, have begun. They say with voters casting early ballots in some states. They say Americans so closely divided. They say that especially in the Senate races and tied to generic congressional ballots. They say even the slightest change in voter sentiment can make a big difference. In other words, they say it's not about who wins what block of voters. They say men, women, colleagues, non-college educated, but also the margins that they win. So they say that's why they struck a recent finding about black voters in the ABC Washington Post poll. And that's to say when they begin to look and say at the week of politics is, okay? So they said black voters tend to be forgotten. And this is CNN saying this, okay? They say black voters tend to be forgotten part of the discussion about general elections. I mean, so if you think that I'm messaging saying, hey, black people are paid attention to, black people are forgotten, let me tell you something. It's my job to find out a whole lot of things what the chatter is at least. I may not say a whole lot, but I know I listen a lot more than I speak. The mainstream media listen a lot more than they speak to. They know exactly what we're talking about. They know who we are. They'll listen to your YouTube videos. They'll listen to your live streams. They'll listen to your Twitter spaces. Them folks are everywhere. It's their job to know. They may not utter a word to you, but they know who you are. So they say the reason is simple. So they have been one of the most democratic parts of the electorate for a long time. So while Joe Biden in 2020 likely did slightly worse than Hillary Clinton among black Americans, he still won them by an overwhelming margin. And said that doesn't mean black voters are unimportant, though. It said black voters put Biden over the top in a number of swing states, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. All those states have competitive gubernatorial and Senate races this year. Well, I mean, this is how I feel about that. When they talk about, you have your Boulay Martins and all that talking about, the voting deal. I say this. What have Biden and the Democrats done for us? It's just that simple. It's just a question. And cussing me out or trying to call us dumb and ignorant, Boulay, that doesn't answer the question. What have they done for black people specifically? Black people got out in the midst of a global pandemic, in the midst of a, uprising at the time for George Floyd to try to get some change. And Biden say he was going to change some things and he's going to do this and he's going to do that. And the moment he got in the office, the Democrats, and the CNN got together and started demonizing black America, blaming black America for all these, hate crimes against Asians when we wasn't the one doing that crap. And the people that were doing it were people that was homeless. And they focused on that and got them a hate crime bill. The Asian people didn't go through no slavery in this country at all. And yet they got a hate crime bill. They didn't go through Jim Crow. They didn't go through redlining. They didn't go through sharecropping. They didn't deal with the Klan lynching their people. They didn't deal with any of that, and yet they got a hate crime bill. And they didn't know none enough of them coming out to vote in mass numbers, and they got a hate crime bill. This is the Democrats. Then when Biden got in office, he did something for the transgenders. Immediately when he got in office, he wasn't even in the seat long enough. He did something for them. He did something for the Afghan people, brought them in here, gave them all kind of money. He did Ukraine. That's just a open checkbook for them, right? He's doing something for everybody else you could think of. But black Americans, oh, well, you got Juneteenth. That's what you got. So basically you got nothing. Oh, well, we gave you Ketanji Brown Jackson, who's not effective even if she wanted to be because of the conservative majority on the Supreme Court. That's just symbolism. That's not anybody that can affect any change. And then we look into Ketanji Brown Jackson's history. She ruled against black people who filed a racial discrimination lawsuit against, Lockheed Martin or one of those places? Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm saying the wrong place, but it was definitely one of the major companies. And she ruled against the black people. It's supposed to be our sister here, right? And we supposed to be all happy about. That Jennifer Lewis up here cutting a jig for. Now they say, look at national polling. They say it seems possible that Democrats might not be able to count on nearly as much support from black voters as they have in previous elections. I wonder why. It's an average of 5 live interview polls. It said the 2020 election showed Biden with an 84% to 9% lead over then President Donald Trump among black voters. A big 75-point advantage. Say, but this year, an average of the last 5 live interview polls, they can give, found that Democrats a 74% to 12% advantage among black voters, a 62% edge, they say, on the generic congressional ballot, as they which usually ask respondents some form of filing question: if the elections for Congress were held today, would you vote for the Democrat or Republican Party? It said this represents the largest swing toward Republicans by black voters than the swing we have seen among voters from 2020. It said notably the 5 live interview polls as they can get from 2018 show Democrats with the 85% to 9% lead on the generic ballot with black voters. They said again, they said we're seeing this year is clearly different. They said the shift among black voters is something new. Said back in April, they said they pointed out that Democrats had a 73% to 11% advantage among the demographic to the generic ballot. It said, to me, it's consistent to indicate that it's not statistical noise we're witnessing. It's more concrete. Well, I'm going to tell you this. Let me speak in the area of black men. I don't know if some people realize this or not. There's a lot of black men that's actually swinging more toward the Republican Party. And I'm gonna tell you why. Black men don't like all this agenda that the Democrats are pushing. Black men their issues aren't being addressed. Black men, forget black men. You know what I'm saying? Black men are just, for instance, they'll send out Tiffany Cross to tell black men to get behind the women. And so basically here we go with this matriarchal society that has utterly failed in the black community. And the Democrats, they play these games, but they're no different. They still racist too. They hella racist. If you want to go there. A lot of black men understand that I got to do something today. I got to do something that's, provide for my family, entrepreneurship. Black men want lower taxes, right? That's something black men want, especially black men who have created businesses. Understand something. I believe in reparations. I believe we should keep fighting for reparations every single day. But economic empowerment is just going to put food on the table today while we continue to fight for reparations. Economic empowerment going to keep the lights on, the roof over our head for us as black men to support our families while we keep fighting for reparations. Understand? We can't throw away black empowerment just to fight for reparations. We got to do both, and we're capable of doing both. And in politics, it's about getting what you need. The Democrats wants to raise our taxes. The Democrats sit up here with this cash bail thing, right? They're letting go freaking criminals who belong in there. Listen, this is how I feel about the bail thing. If you out here doing a violent crime, talking about violent, okay, you need to stay underneath the same system that it has been. Well, when someone do something nonviolent, you didn't hurt nobody, let's say a financial crime, child support, like something that's nonviolent that you're doing, right? This is something nonviolent. Then you can go ahead and let them out because they didn't do anything violent. So the immigration thing with Biden and them, the unchecked immigration, which you want to talk about black men, it hurts black men as well. It hurts black men because a lot of black men are still in some of those jobs in the area of construction. Some of the black men are still in those jobs, some service jobs. And just because of how America is going to pay the lowest wage. So black men is going to lose jobs, not really so much because of the immigrants coming here, but because the employers don't want to pay a decent wage. So they'd rather give the job to an immigrant that comes across the border. Because understand something, $7.25 an hour is a lot of money to somebody that just came here when they used to be making $2 to $3 a day. You understand? In their own country, they hit a lick with a minimum wage job. We know as Americans, we can't survive on that, especially black men trying to provide for a family. It's and then also another thing, all this pandering. Some Republican leaders show a little bit more strength than the Democrats do. They present themselves as real weak on things. Some people say, well, why some men, some like Trump, is because Trump didn't back down on anything. Trump doubled down and tripled down. He didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Now, we know Trump got the racism deal, but as black men, we know racism is part of America. We know that. We ain't got to live with them people. We don't want to live with them people. We don't even like them people. It's not about liking people. The problem in the black community is you want to like people too much. If you understand business, it's about getting what you need out of the situation. That's it. So some black men have been attracted to that. That's why you have the Republican. And also, let me not leave out black women. Black women have been attracted to the Republican Party in some ways too. But it's a quiet attraction. It's not a loud attraction. Let me make sure I say that. It's quiet because they support the Republicans, and what they do a lot of times in silence. They may not be vocal, and they're not going to coon out. That's the thing, because you can support Republican ideals and not coon out like Candace Owens wearing a White Lives Matter T-shirt, her and Kanye wearing a freaking White Lives Matter T-shirt. You ain't got to go that far to get what you need. Actually, to be honest with you, nobody respects a coon. Nobody respects a raccoon. They just don't. They respect you more if you stand in your square and say, look, I'm only really here because of X, Y, and Z. You know, this is my issue, that's my issue. And if they get out of line, you check them. Hey, we ain't going to do that. We're not going to do that. What you talking about? But on these issues, we're going to talk. Yeah, so it's a lot of people. Some of your celebrities out there, black celebrities, male and female, quietly support the Republican Party. But they won't tell you that. So it's and you're starting to see it. You're starting to see it. And then you have people like Roland. I can't believe, what are y'all doing? Do you think that, listen, some people going to go support the Republican. Listen, it's a person's right to support whatever party they want to support, or support no party at all. Me, I support no parties. All I support is who going to give me a policy that's going to benefit, the community, benefit something that we need. That's it. I'm a complete, true independent voter. So they were saying that here about the let's say the Democratic House candidates' current margin among generic black voters is 62 points. It holds to be the smallest margin they ever had won in this group since 1990. Okay, so a lot of black people, they just breaking all this down and everything about black people and saying how they just not pleased at all. How black people are just kind of, they concern y'all. They concerned. So what they're going to do is like I said, they're going to keep sending out Boule Martin. You're going to start hearing those terms, misinformation, disinformation. You're going to start hearing those terms. They're going to do everything they can, once again, throw it at the kitchen sink to get you. They're going to try to scare you because, scare tactics. If they put out another Get Your Booty to the Polls Part 2, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe not the midterms, but for sure the presidential election. They throw it at the kitchen sink at that. But they will keep pointing out black men because they feel that, we got black women, but black men. And let me tell you something, black men, you keep on doing what you're doing. This party, Democrat Party, does not have anything for us as black men. None. They have nothing for us. And you can't be using racism. Because let me tell you something. Racism for me is played out. I should vote for you just because you don't call me a name. But yet your policies are worse than theirs. At least they are front what they trying to do, the Republicans. They are front. You just like them, but you gonna make sure just to give everybody something outside of us in our face and using our votes to do it. So you're not for us, you worse. Because you smile in our face like you supposedly our friends and you care so much about us, but the moment you get in power, you do something for everybody else. Listen, black people, we can never forgive the Democrat Party for the Asian hate crime bill. Black people are still, why we haven't got one? Why we haven't got one? You should be more insulted by that. You should be insulted. And that same year, the FBI put out the hate crime numbers. Black people suffered more hate crimes than Asians that year, according to the FBI. Now, when it's something for black people, it has to be black and this group, black and that group. But when it comes for everybody else, it's just for them, right? Why didn't they do the black and Asian hate crime bill? They could have did that. They could have did it. We would have talked about it, but they still could have did it. They didn't do it. And all your Congressional Black Caucus members voted for it. Why should we vote for them too? Why? They all voted for the money for Ukraine. They didn't vote for no money for you. They don't even speak about reparations for you. They don't do anything for you. Why do you need to go reward them with a vote? Why you need to go out and reward them to keep them in office when he done nothing for you? Everybody else has benefited off the Democrat Party. You haven't benefited at all with your votes. So you go out to vote and everybody else benefit. Everybody walk on your back. Everybody. And then at the same time, that you want to know why other people are have this anti-black, sentiment or even arrogant at black people? It's because it's our own collective fault. Now you may say, why is it our collective fault? Well, when people can use and abuse you, they treat you any kind of way because they know you're going to be there always. It's kind of like being in an abusive relationship. The person that's the abuser is going to keep being abusive until the victim themselves say, okay, enough is enough. I'm getting out this relationship. As long as you are around, they're going to keep abusing you. As long as you go out and political posturing, voting, and all this stuff for the Democrat Party just for no reason, and these other groups keep benefiting, they're not going to listen. Y'all have not allowed other groups to fight on their own. I just seen a video the other day. Shout out to the sister of Black News Daily. Shout out to her. I think it was in Atlanta. They had some sort of reparations meeting or something like that. And the Iranians showed up out of the blue talking about asking black people to help them and speak up for them what's happening in Iran. I think one brother like, well, what that got to do with us over here? He said, you support reparations or what you here for? And the guy like, yeah, but we need help in Iran. So the brother say, well, why don't you go to Iran and fight? Which is a legitimate thing to say. Well, we'd be killed. And the brother said, well, we were killed here and we still getting killed here. Say, go fight. It's the truth. Go fight. It's not our problem. Sorry. That's y'all revolution. That's your movement in Iran. Deal with it. That's how I look at it. Ain't no more of that. We gonna cape for anybody. Nope. We still got our own problems to deal with. If I'm gonna go cape for somebody outside of America, I'll go to Africa somewhere and do it. I'm not gonna do it. Nope. I ain't doing that. That's y'all problem. The problem is black folks for years have always sat up here and ran and fought for everybody. And if same people get good, then they want to tell us, look down on us. And no. That's y'all problem. And y'all problem is a religion problem because the women, from what I'm hearing, the women don't want to cover their head up no more. And that's y'all personal and cultural problem. Why we going to get involved with it? Okay, if they doing what they doing to y'all, hey, how many times that we fought and we died, as a collective of people for the little rights and freedoms that we have that most of y'all benefit from in any way. Y'all benefit more of the civil rights movement than we do. So no, don't let no other group talk about, oh, well, could you help us? No, when have you helped us? I mean, if you helped us, then yeah, okay, I believe we should reciprocate, but they know good and well they didn't help. So there you go. But we're not obligated to support the Democrat Party whatsoever. We're not obligated. We don't have to. We don't get no prize for it. We don't get paid for it. Nothing. We get nothing for supporting these people. Not a thing. So let them, like I said, tell Biden and the Democrats to go and ask the Asian community, the LGBT community, the immigrants that he allowed come in here in the past 2 years. They said 4 million have shown up in the past 2 years. Tell him to go ask them for votes. Leave us alone. Because obviously his party isn't for us. And they trying to say, well, if the Republicans get in, Biden's going to be a lame duck president. Well, for black people, he's been a lame duck since he got in there. So at least if he's lame duck, at least he's lame duck equally, right? That's how I feel about it. Because listen, as black people, we got to be take a position like, if you're not going to do nothing for us, then you do nothing for nobody. There you go. And we all going to suffer equally, right? If you're going to do something for everybody, then you completely do something for everybody, right? That everybody includes black people, not black people no, everybody else yes. But let's see, because you got the inflation that's on against Biden right now, inflation, crime, biting them with the crime situation. There's so many different things that's against the Democrat Party right now, and that's of their own doing. But don't let them people, try to pressure you. You, for your own safety and also for your own thought process too. Just ask a question: why should I vote for you? Why? Why? What have you done with the vote I gave you the last time? Did you do anything with it? No, I see you done nothing for me. So why should I go out there and do it again? Why should I waste my time for you, for your party specifically? No. I believe your party needs to be sat down for a few election cycles and shown that you don't cross Black America. If we're going to come vote for you, you do what you say you're going to do for Black people. Matter of fact, you do for Black people first. Then after you do something for everybody else, great. But nobody shows up in mass to vote like us in a block. And we should be the people that you take care of. No business operates that way. Like if a person has a business and their biggest customer base is one particular group, they take care of their biggest customer base first. In business, nobody going to say, forget my big customer base. I'm trying to do something for other people that don't even that can't pay our business anything. It wouldn't even make sense. Yeah, but the Democrat Party, they definitely need, a referendum. Now we know that still a good majority of Black people will vote Democrat, but that number is shrinking. Even they know it's shrinking, and I told you why. It's shrinking because life is happening. The older civil rights generation are passing away, every, election cycle. So there's less and less civil rights generation people to vote for them. Dealing with the Gen Xers and the millennials and the Gen Zs, they got a problem. They have a big problem. And that's what have them quaking in their boots. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the podcast. Greatly appreciate it. Make sure you click the subscribe button. That way you know we post another podcast. Make sure you click that like button. It's very important. We definitely appreciate you for listening. We'll see you on the next one.